There's an old legend about a traveler named Kale who was searching for the golden seed. Kale had heard that this seed could grow in any soil, under any sun, and would provide fruit that could heal any soul. He spent 20 years searching. He climbed mountains that scraped the sky and crossed oceans that wanted to swallow him whole. Finally, in a hidden valley, he found an old woman sitting by a dry well. She held a small, dull, gray pebble in her hand. "Is that it?" Kale asked, his voice cracking from the dust. "Is that the golden seed?" The woman smiled, and her face looked like a map of 1,000 journeys. "It is," she said. "But it isn't golden yet. It's gray because it's sleeping. Most people find this seed and throw it away because it doesn't look like a miracle. It looks like a rock." Kale took the seed and planted it in the richest soil he could find. He watered it with the clearest spring water. He waited. 1 week. 1 month. 1 year. Nothing happened. Frustrated, Kale dug up the seed to see what was wrong. The moment he touched it, the seed crumbled into dust. The old woman, who had been watching from the shadows, sighed. "You forgot the one thing a seed needs more than water or sun," she said. "You forgot to let it be invisible. Growth is not a performance. It is a transformation that happens in the dark, under pressure, while no one is watching." We live in a world that is obsessed with the bloom. We want the highlight reel. We want the before and after photos. We want the 6-figure salary, the perfect physique, and the enlightened mind, and we want them by next Tuesday. But growth, real, tectonic, soul-shifting growth, doesn't work on a microwave timer. It works on a seasonal clock. If you feel stuck today, it's likely not because you aren't capable. It's because you've misunderstood the code of growth. Today, we are going to break that code down. We are going to turn the word grow into a roadmap. G for grounding. R for resistance. O for ownership. W for wisdom. If you're ready to stop looking at the gray pebble and start becoming the golden tree, let's begin. G, grounding, the power of the silent root. The first letter is G. And G stands for grounding. Let's talk about a man named Arthur. In the 1920s, Arthur was a laborer on a crew building a skyscraper in New York City. For months, Arthur and his team didn't lay a single brick above the street level. Every day, they went down. They dug deeper into the mud, the bedrock, and the dark. Passers-by would mock them. They'd lean over the fence and yell, "Hey Arthur! When are you going to build something we can actually see? You've been digging a hole for half a year. You're just making a bigger grave." Arthur never looked up. He knew something the hecklers didn't. He knew that for every 10 feet they wanted to go up, they had to go 5 feet down. If they tried to build that skyscraper on the surface, the first winter wind would topple it like a house of cards. One day, they finally hit the schist, the hard, ancient rock beneath the city. They anchored the steel. And from that moment on, the building rose so fast it seemed to grow an inch an hour. In your life, grounding is the work no one sees. It's the late nights studying when your friends are out. It's the meditation when your mind feels like a chaotic beehive. It's the boring, repetitive drills you do to master a craft. We live in a surface culture. We want the height without the depth. But if you don't ground yourself in your values, your discipline, and your why, your success will be shallow. Grounding is the process of becoming unshakable. It's not about how high you can reach, it's about how much weight you can carry. Are you willing to be invisible for a season? Are you willing to dig the hole while everyone else is busy painting their fences? To grow, you must first go down before you can go up. R, resistance, the friction that shapes the diamond. The second letter is R. It stands for resistance. Imagine a young pilot named Sarah. Sarah wanted to fly the most advanced jets in the world. She went to flight school, and in the simulator, she was perfect. The weather was always clear. The engines always hummed. She felt like a natural. Then came her first real solo flight. 10 minutes after takeoff, a massive storm front rolled in. The wind began to toss her plane like a paper toy. The resistance was terrifying. The air was pushing against her wings with thousands of pounds of force. Her instinct was to turn around, to run back to the calm air of the hangar. But her instructor's voice crackled over the radio, "Sarah, don't fight the wind by turning away. Use the wind. If there was no resistance against your wings, you couldn't stay in the air. Lift is a product of friction. No friction, no flight." Sarah took a breath, adjusted her flaps, and leaned into the wind. She realized that the very thing trying to push her down was the only thing capable of holding her up. Most of us treat resistance, pain, failure, criticism, as a sign that we are doing something wrong. We think, if this were meant to be, it would be easy. That is a lie. Resistance is the gym of the soul. When you face an obstacle, that is your wind. It is the universe providing the friction necessary for you to generate lift. Think about your daily life. Is your boss being difficult? Is your business failing to gain traction? Is your body aching from the workout? That is not a signal to stop. That is the feeling of the golden seed beginning to crack its shell. To grow, you must stop seeing resistance as an enemy and start seeing it as an architect. The hammer doesn't hate the iron, it's just trying to turn it into a sword. O, ownership, the captain of the soul. The third letter is O. It stands for ownership. There was a man named Leo who lived his life as a passenger. If he lost his job, it was the economy's fault. If his relationship failed, it was his partner's fault. If he was out of shape, it was his genetics' fault. Leo lived in a constant state of waiting. He was waiting for the perfect job, the perfect woman, and the perfect opportunity to fall into his lap. He felt like a leaf on a river, safe, but completely powerless. One day, Leo got lost in a forest while hiking. He sat down and waited for someone to find him. He waited for hours. Night fell. He started to freeze. He yelled, "Why isn't anyone helping me?" Then, he saw his own reflection in a small puddle. He saw his own boots. He saw his own hands. It hit him like a physical blow, no one is coming. In that moment, Leo took ownership. He didn't have a map, but he had feet. He didn't have a fire, but he had the will to build one. He stopped being a victim of the forest and became the master of the trail. He walked out of that forest a different man than the one who walked in. Ownership is the great filter. There are two types of people in this world, those who have excuses and those who have results. You cannot have both. When you take ownership, you reclaim your power. If you say, "It's my fault," you are also saying, "I have the power to fix it." But if you say, "It's their fault," you are giving them the keys to your happiness. Why are you waiting for permission to grow? Ownership means realizing that you are the gardener, the soil, and the seed. You are the only person who can decide to bloom. W, wisdom, the art of the long game. The final letter is W. And W stands for wisdom. There's a story about an old Japanese gardener who spent 60 years tending to a single Zen garden. A young, arrogant student came to visit him and said, "Master, I have studied all the books. I know the chemistry of the soil. I know the botany of the plants. I can make this garden grow twice as fast as you." The master smiled and handed the student a pair of shears. "Go ahead," he said. The student worked feverishly. He used the best fertilizers. He pruned every leaf to perfection. For a month, the garden looked spectacular. It was vibrant and lush. But by the second month, the plants began to wither. The soil became exhausted. The garden died. The master walked over and simply pointed at a small stone. "You had knowledge," the master said. "But you lacked wisdom. Knowledge is knowing how to make things grow. Wisdom is knowing when to let them rest. You tried to force the spring in the middle of winter. Wisdom is the maturity of growth. It's the ability to distinguish between motion and progress. In our lives, we often confuse being busy with growing. Wisdom is the voice that tells you to take a day off so you don't burn out. Wisdom is the intuition that tells you to quit a toxic job even if it pays well. Wisdom is the understanding that some things take time, and forcing them only breaks them. To grow, you must develop a relationship with time. You must learn to trust the seasons of your own life. Sometimes you are in a season of grounding, digging deep. Sometimes you are in a season of resistance, fighting the wind. Wisdom is knowing which season you are in and acting accordingly. The synthesis, the golden tree. So, let's bring it all together. You came here because you want to grow. But you realize today that growth isn't just about getting bigger. It's about getting better. You need grounding so you don't fall. You need resistance so you can fly. You need ownership so you can lead. You need wisdom so you can last. Look at your life right now. Which letter are you missing? Are you all bloom, but no roots? You need more grounding. Are you avoiding the hard stuff? You need to embrace the resistance. Are you blaming everyone else for your situation? It's time for ownership. Are you trying to rush a process that requires patience? You need wisdom. The golden seed is in your hand. It's gray. It's dull. It looks like a rock. But inside that rock is a version of you that is unshakable, powerful, and radiant. If you've made it this far, it means something in you is ready to break the shell. You aren't here by accident. You're here because the fog is lifting and that ships are coming in, but only if you light the lamp. I want to do a little experiment with you. In the comments below, I want you to type out the one letter of G.R.O.W. that you are going to commit to this week. If you're going to work on your discipline, type G. If you're going to face a fear, type R. If you're going to stop making excuses, type O. If you're going to slow down and reflect, type W. Write the letter and one sentence about the inch you're going to win today. I read every single comment, and I want to see this community of gardeners supporting each other. If this video gave you a new perspective, hit that like button. It tells the algorithm that this kind of deep dive content matters. And if you want to be part of a tribe that values depth over clicks, hit subscribe and turn on the notifications.